Welcome to Fringe Fanatics with Chad Lee and Chris Zane.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else included as well. We don't do anything, we want everybody to be involved in this. It is Fringe Fanatics. I am Chris Zane. That was a weird intro. We had every once in a while you have a weird intro, you know what I'm saying?
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, all right. I'm Chris Zane.
And I'm Chad Lee. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, we are back. It is episode 85 of Fringe Fanatics.
Climbing up there, man.
Climbing up there. We are, 15 away from the 100. We got special things planned. We don't know what they are yet, but things are planned.
We're going to manifest it.
Yeah,
that's right.
Manifest destiny, although that's not necessarily correlated to good things anymore. But you know what it is.
Right.
Anyways.
It is episode 85.
Yes.
And Chris found a good one for that. Mr. Herbert Jackson Youngblood.
Yes, Mr. Jack Youngblood, born January 26, 1950, was a defensive end for the Los Angeles Rams of the National Football League, if you will. Played 14 seasons during the 70s and 80s. He was a 5-time consensus All-Pro and a 7-time Pro Bowl selection and was inducted to the Pro Football Hall of Fame as well. Before playing professionally, Youngblood played college football for the University of Florida and was recognized as an All-American. He is considered among the best players Florida ever produced and was a member of the College Football Hall of Fame and one of only 6 Gators to be named to the Gator Football Ring of Honor. That's
only 6. They're really picky with that.
A lot. Yeah,
there's a lot of. I mean, you got Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Others.
Some say one of the greatest college football players ever.
I'd say he's definitely up there.
One hell of a winner.
Yeah.
But continue on. Tell us a little bit more about him, Chad.
All right. Well, we're going to get a little more into it. Youngblood, he got into broadcasting, both radio and television, acting and business, and has written an autobiography. He was a popular spokesperson for various products, and he has been consistently involved in charity work, starting in college, continuing throughout his NFL career, and remaining so today. Currently, Youngblood serves on the NFLPA Mackey White Traumatic Brain Injury Committee. In 2014, Youngblood opened the Jack Youngblood Center for Neuro Enhancement in Orlando, Florida, which attempts to treat the symptoms of traumatic brain injury and offer care to patients in effort to restore normal brain function.
We need some of that.
Yes, we do. We need to go to that center.
Yeah, definitely.
Youngblood has stated the bonus with this therapy is that the time invested is minimal, while the results are extraordinary.
Yeah, and one of the huge things about Jack Youngblood just was his, one thing we always say around here is availability is the best ability, and he was always available. He ended up starting 187 games, played a total of 202. I don't think he missed a game. I was trying to see when it was and how long it actually was, but he didn't miss a game for quite a while. Let me see here.
I think he started, how many consecutive?
201 consecutive games.
That is
nuts. So of his, 202 total games, he started 201 of them and played in 201 of them. So that is just insane in and of itself.
Yeah.
Total sacks, 24, not that many. Total fumble recoveries, 10. Did have 2 safeties. But, I mean, just you go down his accolades. Sack leader in the NFL, 74-79. NFL 1970s All-Decade Team. St. Louis Football Ring of Fame. His number is retired by the Rams, number 85. Nobody's wearing it again.
That's pretty cool.
First team All-American 1970. First team All-SEC 1970. And like we mentioned, Football Ring of Honor for the Florida Gators, of which there are only 6, which is insane. I think that was probably the craziest thing I just learned from this whole thing is that only 6 people are in Florida Gator Football Ring of Honor.
Career high of 18 sacks in 1979 too, and that's probably back when there was 14 games.
Exactly. He's doing that on way less time,
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, these guys now got 17 going on 18 games, so
yeah,
it's getting wild out there. We're out of whiskey, huh?
Yeah, and I'm just not drinking this week. We drink a lot over the Memorial Weekend.
Yeah,
well, I know I did.
I probably shouldn't be drinking tonight either, so we'll give a salute to Jack Youngblood if
That's
we're not
right.
doing shots. So salute
Hats
to you.
off to you, Mr. Youngblood.
Salute to all of you that tune in each and every week. We appreciate all of you. And as always, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow us. And go to whatever you listen or watch us on. Rate us 5 stars. Leave a review. And, ask us a question on each episode. They have that option. Do it. We'll answer them. We've got nothing but time.
If we don't know it, then we'll look it up and
I'll Google it.
Yeah,
If you're too lazy to Google it, ask me, and I'll
we'll do
Google it, and then I'll tell you guys.
Yep.
Well, let's
No
get
dumb
into it.
questions.
You just started it. You drank a lot this weekend. Tell me a little about it as you sip your cafe.
Yep, drinking out of my Mandalorian Grogu mug. It's pretty sweet. So Friday night, we didn't drink that night. We just stayed in, chilled.
Good
We
for
watched
you.
the new Ghostbusters movie. That was pretty sweet. Yeah, it was entertaining.
It was good?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Nothing like blew me away or anything about it, but it was entertaining. It was fun. I really like how they've paid homage to the old Ghostbusters back in the day. I mean, we grew up with that shit back in the, when we were young. So
I still haven't watched the last one with Paul Rudd.
Yeah, it's a really good one.
And honestly, I didn't watch the one that was all girls.
You can skip that one.
I know. I didn't want to say that, but
I will.
it seems
It's
pretty renowned.
I'm pretty sure
not a
95%
good
of our
movie.
listeners are guys, so it's all right.
Yeah, that's true.
No worries.
Aside from our mothers.
That's the 5%.
I doubt they've watched this movie. Yeah.
But so Friday night we watched that, and then let's see what else did Saturday. I got the yard mode. Then we started playing some yard games, and we played a lot of yard games this weekend. She brought her dad's cornhole boards back from her hometown whenever she visited, and that was pretty cool because they're Chiefs, so they're pretty badass.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. But this backyard is the first one we've had where we can finally play some cornhole, and even there's spots there's really only one part of the yard that is a good spot for it because it's all uneven and it just makes it kind of tough. But yeah, we had a lot of fun doing that. Saturday night we just had some drinks and got into Saturday we went to Don's. Yeah, guess where I got this hat? Show
the people your new hat. Look at that guy.
Right here. You can get them at Don's. $25.
Represent Don's.
They have
I'm
bucket
not
hats
stoked
for 30.
on it, but if you want to sponsor us, by all means, I will gladly accept it.
Just give me a $20 credit every time I go in there, and I guarantee you I will shout you guys out.
Or just send us $20 and we'll pay for our Buzzsprout. You know what I'm saying? We're not asking for much.
That's actually a really good idea.
We're not asking for much. But Don's great.
They do a cookout thing. They don't serve food. You can't go buy food, but they have a great loophole around that where
it's
on Chief Sundays
barbecue.
They do potlucks, and then on certain days throughout the year and stuff they'll do cookouts. And so they had this big weenie roast, had all these hot dogs cook out, pickles, chips, and it was just free for anybody who showed up. And they had cornhole out front. They had a little pool. It's just really good vibes. It was great. It was really nice outside. I had draft margaritas the whole time, quite a bit.
Dude, you're loving the margs.
I am, man. I'm loving tequila.
I'm just gonna start calling you Chad Lee Margarita.
That rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
I feel like that's you, dude.
Chad Lee Margarita. That's what I do. Hey, margarita's not a game.
We're probably gonna have new merch soon with Chad Lee Margaritas.
Hey, we have one more minute, okay? I don't think we've cussed yet. Let's keep going. I didn't even realize it, but I think we're doing pretty good.
Oh man, I don't
think we have. Yeah,
we're doing good. All right.
So, we got a little toasted there because she drinks her mimosas, and I sneak her in sometimes. She'll be like, "Just give me a single," and then I got her the double, and then that's what does the trick. It's once I start to see those eyes do a little bit of that wobbly thing, I'm like, "All right, we're here to party."
I think that might not be okay to do, but I appreciate that you do it. It's almost like it's like a light roofing, you know what I mean?
Well, since we're in a relationship, it's totally fine.
No, I agree. No,
totally.
that's fine.
That's
you're good. No,
I'm making it all shady. But afterwards, we went to Red Ginger, and I chowed down on some sushi.
Dude, Red Ginger.
Got 3 rolls, man. I just devoured it.
They're always on
great.
sale.
It is. Yeah, 40% off all the
time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Used to be 50% off, but the economy's hurting. So
it's still, it is really good sushi. If you go there when they're slow, dude, you can tell those guys take the most time. Last time me and Meryl went, I think there was 4 people, 4 groups in there, and we were one of them being 2. And dude, they murder it every time.
It's amazing.
It's awesome.
Dude. It's so good for the price, dude. I mean, like if you go get a regular roll, you know, like a fried roll, that's what I always get, the fried sushi. It's the best one, you know, America. Well,
yeah, fried.
You are going to pay like $15-$16 or something like that. Like when Yum Fusion right down here the road on 104th, they've got pretty good sushi.
Yeah.
Their fried sushi roll is like $16. That's the cheapest one. And there, it's like $8. $8 at Red Ginger. Red Ginger, sponsor us. Come on.
Dude, I'm going to message you guys.
Yes.
And please.
I'm really shouting you guys out here. Go to Red Ginger if you like sushi.
Come on, man.
Yep.
$20 a month.
I've literally been going there about 12 years now. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think me and Meryl's first actual date
no way
was at Red Ginger.
That's crazy. I never realized that.
Well, because, like, it's weird anymore. Like, we were hanging out with a group of people that were all kind of promiscuous.
Okay.
So, like, there was a lot of 20 degrees of separation.
Right.
And so, like, we started hanging out, and then, like, I'd known her already. And then we like kind of like decided December, I think 10th. God forbid, I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this. I think
actually
that's
the 12th.
I think that's our anniversary. December 10th. I'm gonna just roll with it. That was when we decided we were like a couple. And then like our first like legit date after that was at Red Ginger. I think it was
dude.
I think it was New Year's Eve.
Oh, that's cool.
I think
Nice.
so. But yeah, Red Ginger's awesome.
It's
if
great.
you are in Denver, go to Red Ginger. It's delicious.
It's fantastic.
Chinese food, sushi.
Yeah, because she doesn't like sushi, so she gets hibachi, and it's
That's the thing. They
killer.
got hibachi too.
They have really good hibachi. It's
Yeah.
not like they make it in all like Mount Fuji
The guy's
or
not
anything in front of you.
throwing. It's not throwing like
But we heard for
eggs in
today
your
from Enrique.
mouth.
Yeah, fuck you, Benihana, because I mean he spent $300 for 4 people, and their portions were super small. It's overrated.
Benihana?
At Benihana, he spent
I missed
$300.
that. I wasn't around for that shit.
I don't know. I figured he told a few of us today, but yeah, we had a great time there. Sunday, I finished up the yard work, and then we got the garden all going. I got tomatoes,
Nice.
peppers, zucchini going. Got flowers out front and everything. So yeah, we're set to go for summer.
Yeah.
And we just played the rest of the day. We played some cornhole, and that's pretty much what we did Monday too. We played beer pong out on the back patio. We got a little kiddie pool for little man. He doesn't get in there, but he loves playing like a game where we throw a ball in there, and then he gets it out, and then he wants us to throw it back in there.
Yeah,
he does
like,
it.
I'm not getting all the way in, but I'll get that ball out.
Yeah, he does it, dude.
He's like, you throw my ball in there, I'm getting it.
He'll spend hours doing that, dude. He gets so fixated on it.
You just
It's
throw it in there,
hilarious.
and like, he'll be busy for like 5 minutes.
Oh man, seriously, he'll just like keep on doing. He like fishes it out, and then you just notice where he's just looking at you like, throw it back in there.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Come on, throw it back in.
Throw it back in there. Yeah. But it was great. Yeah, I played beer pong and cornhole. It was a great time. Cooked some hot dogs.
Nice.
Typical, stereotypical, great Memorial Day.
Yeah. We did. I mean, almost the same shit. Honestly.
Nice.
I finally. Well, the project isn't done, but the process of moving the the mulch from under the fence to by the house and the rocks by the house under the fence is done.
Oh, sweet.
To where I need it to, because we're gonna
Cool.
put that driveway in that last like 22 feet.
Okay.
So I left the old mulch there, and there was like an abundance of mulch. There was more mulch than rocks. Honestly, I almost ran out of rocks, and I went much farther with the rocks around the house than I went across the fence. Because I guess, I don't know, the rocks just took more to fill in space. I don't know what it is. Anyways, that's pretty much done. We also got our garden all the way done. It's fully planted. We had 3 tomatoes, like these little black cherry tomatoes. 2 other kind of tomatoes that I can't remember. My mom gave us this the little seedlings. I got 2 jalapenos, a serrano, some green bell peppers, and then yesterday Meryl finished planting the rest of what she put in the seed starter, which was like cantaloupe, some watermelon, some zucchinis, some yellow squash,
God
some
damn.
cantaloupe.
You guys got like a fucking...
Yeah, it's a lot.
A lot over there.
I'm going to be probably bringing a lot to you guys.
Do it, man, yeah.
And to
She
probably
loves watermelon.
Smalley. So then the little sweet watermelons.
Oh, cool.
We'll see what happens.
I did that a lot throughout the years. Whenever I've had, over the last couple of years, when I've had a plethora of veggies, is I just bring them in there to the break room. And
Yeah.
if people take them, they take them.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, because I'm going to have a shitload. Those jalapenos are already budded, and there's like
Sweet.
6 or 7 little buds on each one. So that's going to be
do some
and she
jalapeno
doesn't
poppers,
eat
man.
hot stuff.
Yeah,
So
that's all you. Then.
it's on me then. So yeah, got all that done. Kind of started I want to build like a little hutch thing for the trash cans, because they sit on the side of the house in the front.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to use a couple of the bucket pallets, the Synergy pallets, for like the base, and then like kind of just build a little wall thing around it.
That'd be a good
like,
idea.
Have it open in the front.
Nice.
So that's my thing, but I am going to pour a little concrete pad for it. So
Oh, wow.
I'm going to mix concrete. That's my next project.
I love doing that, man. Back when I lived in Lakewood, I made
Yeah.
it like a little walk pathway, and it's fun mixing concrete.
It is one of those things where it's very satisfying to see, like, and now it's ready.
Are you going to use
Pour
some
it out.
core fill or?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was going to use. I was hoping we had something at work, but I wasn't really sure now if, since the buyout happened, if we are allowed to still purchase at cost.
Yeah, I believe so. I wouldn't see why not.
Well,
Who knows?
I'm gonna.
Yeah,
But
it
that's
does
kinda
make
what I
it
thought.
super fucking cheap, because I've bought some stuff and it's like,
Yeah, because I was looking at it, and I was like, well, I can't use like mortar, so I'm gonna have to use like pretty much the core fill.
yeah, core fill would probably be your best bet,
But
if it's
if
just
not,
like
I
regular
was
outdoor
always-
shit.
I'm always scouring Craigslist and shit too,
Yeah.
so I might find some cheap ass concrete somebody's got left over. But
That's a good way to go.
that's my plan there. Got the yard kind of figured out, and did a lot of weed killing in the back. So
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
yeah.
Yep.
And then Saturday night, we had a little bit of fun and watched Fantasia. Some
Nice.
of you, by just that alone, will know what I mean.
That's cool.
So we did that. And then Sunday, we played a little bit of video games with Meryl's and I nephew from her brother, Landon. And he might actually be helping us with thumbnails, because apparently we're learning now thumbnails, they're an
'Cause
important
we're
part.
lacking in
Yeah.
our thumbnail games.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, that's pretty much my weekend in a nutshell. I'm trying to. We started Fallout finally.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we're into that.
Yeah, I had who was it that was telling us to watch that? Oh, it was
Have
Samir.
you started it?
No, Samir and
No.
Erica were telling us on Saturday to watch that. And I said the same thing. I was like, I never played the game, and they were like, no, you really don't have to.
That's what I've heard. Like, I played the game, a couple of them, but I've heard just like a show in and of itself, you can like get into it without knowing anything about the game, because it kind of starts from the beginning of the game a little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
It's definitely super good. It also has Uncle Baby Billy from the Righteous Gemstones.
I've heard he's a big fan favorite in that show.
Yeah. So yeah, it was definitely a good new watch. So if you have something to start watching that.
Well,
it's good.
fuck yeah, man. Nice. Oh, we started Tires with Shane Gillis. So,
Meryl said I can't watch it because I was watching one episode, and she's like, I don't like Shane Gillis. There's something about his face I don't like. And then I made the joke about how he said he dodged Down syndrome. He's like, I dodged it. He's like, I got nicked a little bit.
Yeah.
But I dodged it. And then I made a joke. I was like, well, that's because you don't like his people.
Nice.
And then she's like, that's not it. And I was like, kind of sounds like it. And then... yeah, she's like, but anyways, you can't watch this because it's just full of misogyny and stuff. And I was like, it is what it is. It's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's stupid.
Yep. Freedom of speech, man.
Yeah.
You can't knock freedom of speech.
There you go.
If you
Harrison
knock
Butker.
freedom of speech, you are a Nazi. That's the way. That's pretty
Whoa,
much the definition.
That's a bold statement there.
Everybody should have a chance to talk. That's
No,
just
that's fair.
That's
thought
I
you were
mean
gonna
that's
say
literally
a
what we're
tattoo
doing
with numbers.
No, dude, not at all. You know, that show Tires is fucking hilarious, man.
It's super funny.
It's good. Andrew Schultz
I
is
think
in
I
it.
watched the first 4 episodes.
Nice.
Like,
Yeah, there's only 6, so that's what we're at. We got 2 left, but yeah, it's pretty good.
Oh man, I made myself laugh.
Got
It
yourself
hurt
some
on
heartburn.
the inside.
Well, yeah, man. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
We're gonna get into some NFL headlines.
Yeah, I mean, there isn't too much this week, in all honesty.
So we're gonna breeze through it.
You, you kind of kicked it off in our notes here. Why don't you take us away? There's something happening. It's a countdown.
Yep, I did. I wanted to put this in because it is kind of exciting. We are now start the countdown 100 days from kickoff.
It's crazy how fast it happens because, when you think about it, aside from, OTAs, those are going to be gone in probably next season. So at this point, training camp's going to be the start of football. So this is the biggest break we get, really.
Yeah.
And it's not much of a break because football's now year-round.
It is. And, and now, we have this kind of countdown that comes. And, 100 days may seem like a long time, but that's pretty much 3 months, just a little over. So that shit flies by.
I wish 100 days seemed like a long time because it happens real fast.
Dude, the summer
and then you're
just
like, holy shit,
flies by. We go to the pool a lot, and the weekends are great. And it's like when you're having fun, time flies. It is the cliche that is the oldest time, and so that's the way it goes. The summer flies by, and then boom, football hits.
What blew my mind today? I wrote down the 28th, and I was like, holy shit! Yeah, it is.
Dude,
May is June
just jumped on.
Yeah,
through.
We are done with May. May flew by.
Yep.
But yeah, the long weekend was nice. So we are.
That was pretty cool.
We are into now the countdown to NFL. Like I just said, OTAs are starting for everybody, and then we got I think it's 3 weeks before training camp after this, so things are gonna have them start.
It's the end of June or about the end of July, I think, is when it starts. Second week of July is when training camp starts.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we got a month.
Yep.
But yeah, it's gonna start happening fast. But a few things have happened in the NFL, and I'll start it out. The Raiders reward Mr. Max Crosby,
the Condor,
the Condor or Mad Max, whatever you want to call him. He basically gets a $6 million bump on his contract this year without adding any years to his extension. He was a 4th round pick, I think, in 2022 or no?
Oh no, it was way before that.
Oh shit! I think you're right. It was way before that.
2020 or 2021. Maybe.
Yeah, so I think it was 2020. 4th round pick, 2020. He signed a 4-year extension in 2022, which was total of $95 million and $53 million guaranteed. But yeah, they add that $6 million bump, which is also guaranteed. So that's probably going to bring him up to $59 million on that deal. So good for him. The guy is probably one of the most effective pass rushers in the AFC, maybe next to Chad Lee's buddy over there in Kansas City. I can't really think of anybody else other than that's going to be affecting the game as much as Max Crosby does.
No, they are going to be a force next year because they went out and got God damn it, they got a defensive tackle. It's right on the tip of my tongue right now, but it's going to help them out a lot because that's just been the biggest kind of Achilles heel for the Raiders is you have to worry about Max Crosby, but that was it. They went out and drafted the dude from Texas Tech last year, but he didn't have a good year at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a badass defensive tackle. I can't remember where the fuck they got it from.
Adam Butler?
No, Wilkins. Jeff Wilkins from the Dolphins.
Oh, yep.
Is it not Jeff? I don't think it's Wilk. But
those are the unrestricted free agents. Okay, hold on. Well, damn it. Now we need to figure this out.
Yep, all right.
Who can get there faster? Chris Smith, Sharif Finch, Kyle Pecco.
Christian Wilkins, yeah. Christian Wilkins. Not Jeff Wilkins.
Yeah. Oh, Christian Wilkins.
Christian Wilkins. Yep.
Okay, so they get Christian Wilkins. They are going to be a force to be reckoned with. The only big question is Farva Light going to be the answer there?
Yep.
Aiden O'Connell. Is he the answer? We don't know, but we'll see. They did get I thought they drafted a quarterback. Who was it that they drafted?
I didn't know that they drafted anybody. They went out and got...
I thought they got...
they got Minshew, though.
I thought they got Texas's quarterback.
Quinn Ewers?
No. The... Damn it.
Yeah, because Ewers is still there.
Not Ewers. Damn it.
I don't know. We're thick in the weeds here.
We are. I guess I'm wrong. I thought they got a quarterback this year, but they didn't.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
So I just made that all up. So sorry for that pause there. That's all on me. But why don't you take us to the next big free agent signing?
Well, just today,
extensions.
Nico Collins signed a 3-year, $75 million deal. I think it was like 40 something that was like maybe guaranteed.
72.75 million total.
Okay.
52 million guaranteed.
That's what it was. Yeah.
So yeah, and he's coming off his best season so far. He had 80 receptions for 1,297 yards and 8 touchdowns in the 15 games that he played. So he definitely deserves it, and that just adds to how long the Texans are going to be right up there in the AFC competing for a top spot. I'm not going to say number 1, but they're definitely going to be up there competing for a top 3 spot in the AFC, and that's going to be for years to come now at this point. So that's about it for NFL.
That's pretty much about it. I think we can keep rolling right along.
You know what we forgot to do? We forgot to play sound.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Well, we're going to do it for the NBA.
You win some, you lose some, you know?
T, come on. I'm burning. My lungs are burning.
My legs are burning as well. Because I've been doing a lot of squats lately. Not really, but...
What?
I just wanted to find out a reason for why my legs are burning, but here we are.
They're just always burning.
They're always burning. Let's get into the NBA. There isn't much in terms of headlines for the NBA, but there is a lot going on in the playoffs. Chad, why don't you start us off here? Where do you want to go?
Well, we'll start off with the sweep. The Boston Celtics did sweep the Indiana Pacers on... It wasn't... It was Sunday night, I think, right? Or it would have been last night.
May 27th.
No, it was last night. It was
Holy
last
shit.
night.
It's
Damn.
been happening so quick
I know.
and fast paced, you know. It's hard to keep up
It
with
wasn't
the days.
an easy sweep either. The last 2 games, Tyrese Halliburton wasn't playing due to a hamstring injury, the same hamstring he hurt January 8th. And, yeah, they still put up a fight. I was really shocked. I thought the Celtics, I put a little prop bet on them to cover like 9.5, and, man, that fell through.
Yeah, outside of game 2, I mean, all of the games were within 5 points. Game 2, the Celtics won 126-110. But yeah, with Halliburton missing, the fact that the Pacers kept it as close as they did with him out for game 3 and game 4 is pretty remarkable. But they couldn't do it. You know, the Celtics have probably, like we were talking about before the show got started, the easiest run into the finals in quite some time.
I'd say, that's
they
unanimous.
cruise right along. The East is just a little bit farther behind than the West right now, but, you know, it's still good to see the parity to some degree where, like, teams like the Pacers and, you know, the Mavericks can make a deep as run as they have right now, and we are looking right now at 2 teams sweeping in the conference finals.
Yeah, and Chris and I learned that would be the first time in history that's ever been done in the conference finals. That seems a little shocking to me. I can't believe it's never happened before. But
yeah, but I mean, you would hope that it didn't happen too often.
No,
you know?
definitely. No, it's better when you get these.
You do think it would happen at least like 3 times by now.
Yeah, it's just such a
In
bummer.
all of the years.
Because we know the Nuggets would have pushed the Mavs. I mean, that could have been a Game 7. Who knows how long that series would have lasted, but I guarantee you the Nuggets wouldn't have gotten swept.
Yeah, no, I don't think they would have at all. I honestly think had they made it past the Timberwolves, they probably would have given the Mavericks a way better fight than the Timberwolves have at this point. And if we want to move into the Western Conference, we can. The Dallas Mavericks are just annihilating the Wolves. These games are ending up close to some degree aside from Game 3, but it does seem like the Mavs just are picking them apart.
Dude, so Friday night, we're watching Ghostbusters. And like I've said before, I kind of have like a unspoken agreement with the missus where on Friday night, if we're watching a movie or anything like that, I'm just That's our time. I'm not even gonna have sports on my phone. So
Yeah, it's admirable of you.
I know. I try. One night a week, just one night.
You're a good significant other.
So I didn't watch any of that game, and then when the movie ended, I turned it on, and there was 11 seconds left. I saw that cold-blooded 3 that Luka hit, just totally crossed up Rudy Gobert, looked like he was a baby horse out there the way he was moving around, and then hit that 3 in his face. It is going to be a moment that lives on in basketball history for years and years to come. That was insane.
And then not to mention what he said after that.
That's part of it, yeah.
One of the best things about that video is behind all that's happening in the front. It's not Rudy. It's not Luka. It's Jaden McDaniels when he first sees Rudy switch to Luka, and he's just like,
oh, no shit. I didn't notice that.
You can see it in his face, dude.
Wow.
He knows. He's just like,
that's fucking hilarious. I mean, I thought, too.
And then he ate him alive, dude. He even said, he's like, I'm not fast, but I'm faster than him. But Luka, like, dude, what he did, I mean, him and Jokic are insanely good at basketball, but Rudy was made to look like a punk by both of them.
He was, and he has been. Yep. I mean,
Jokic, and this is the difference between Luka and Jokic. If it was Luka and Jokic instead of Jokic and Murray, could you imagine? Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
But just that Luka has that, like, he talks shit.
He loves it.
Jokic does it every once in a blue moon.
If you irk him enough, yeah.
Yeah, but that was. Yeah, you said it.
I couldn't believe it.
Cold-blooded.
It was nasty because I literally turned that on.
Put him in a blender, dude.
Yeah, I checked the score, and I couldn't believe I turned that game on. 11 seconds left. I see that the Wolves are up by 2, and I'm like, God damn, they're going to need a miracle. And sure enough, that was the next possession. He goes down there, and he throws up the 3, and I'm thinking, there's no way this is going in. And he hits it, and you see Luka's reaction where he just points at Gobert's face and say, you can't fucking guard me. Dude, I have turned into such a big Luka fan because of this, and now we're starting to get a string of memes from Luka where he did it to Devin Booker. When he's beating these guys, and not just beating them, but dominating them in the playoffs, which he did. They swept the Suns when that meme was created for Devin Booker. And it was hilarious because Devin Booker kept trying to talk shit back and forth, but then Devin Booker would never talk shit if he was behind. He would only talk shit if they were up. You know,
well, everybody does. It's easy.
No, not everybody. Devin Booker's just kind of a puss when it comes to that. Because I mean, Luka will talk shit. It's just backyard basketball. That's what he does. But
when you're over 30 the last 2 games, you know what I mean.
Yep.
And I think in that game that night, I think he had a triple double.
He did. I know he did. Yeah, he's had I think that's maybe 5 in these playoffs now. But he has a string of memes where he's just kind of like leaning over, talking to these guys, and they aren't even trying to acknowledge Luka because he's just like whispering, talking shit in their ears. And there's one with Devin Booker, James Harden, Anthony Edwards now. What was the last series? Shea. There was one from Shea of last series. Yeah. And that's what I was going to bring up. I mean, if they do go on to beat, they have a chance tonight. We haven't even mentioned it. They have a chance to close it out tonight, 6:30. They're definitely gonna close it out. And if they go,
let's not say definitely, but I think they're for sure. Well, I'm not gonna say for sure because the
Wolves are gonna be playing really desperate. That's for sure. But I don't see the Wolves winning four straight. Well,
it's never happened before.
If they go on to play the Celtics, the Mavs do, and then beat the Celtics, you've got to really contemplate, is this one of the best playoff runs of all time? Look at who they go on to beat. The number 1 seeded Thunder. Granted, that's a young team, but that was a damn good team this year. Over 50 games this year, Shea scored over 30. Okay? Then they go on to play who'd they play in the second round? No, that was who they played in the second round, was the Thunder.
Yeah.
Then they can beat the Wolves. And then to go on and beat the Celtics, who had the best team, and not only just that, the Minnesota Timberwolves had the second best defense all year round. Or no, it was the best defense all year.
They had the best, yeah.
Yep. And to go on to the finals to play the second best defense of the entire regular season, the Celtics, if they were to beat them too, I mean, you really got to be looking at this as like one of the best runs we've ever seen.
Yeah, so
I mean, they were a 4 seed going into this.
yeah, they beat the Clippers 4-2.
That's who it was.
In
Thank
the first round, and then they beat the Thunder 4-2, who are number 1. Clippers are 4, so they beat the 4th, they beat the 1st, and now they're going to beat the 3rd if they win tonight. It's definitely got to be up there. Especially when you look at how deep the West is compared to the East. That's what we're saying. Like, the Pacers have just had such a cakewalk when you look at it. I mean,
The Celtics.
the Celtics.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
I'm just reading.
Oh,
the Pacers
let's
when
go
I
through
said
this
that.
for our listeners that aren't aware. So the Celtics make the finals by beating
The Heat.
without Jimmy Butler. Then they go on to beat the Cavs, who were out Jared Allen. Then they lost Donovan Mitchell. Then Evan Mobley, I think, got hurt too.
Yep.
Then they're gonna play the Pacers, who without 2 games lost
Their best player.
their best player, Tyrese
Their best
Halliburton.
player. Yeah.
So they have not been battle tested at all. I really think that like that could be the biggest advantage for the Mavs is like, you know, they're a 4 seed, but the 4 seed in the West is pretty much equivalent to the number 1 seed in the Celtics
Yeah.
because you've got to be battle tested. You know, you've got to go through some, you know, trials and tribulations, some arduous playoff games to like really know what your team's made of when you get down, you know?
Yeah, and this is my thing, not to bounce back to the Timberwolves, but this is like case in point what happens when you're built to beat a team in your division and you're not built to win a championship. They beat the Nuggets, and they looked great doing it. They were literally like the antithesis of the Nuggets, and they picked them apart.
Yep.
But then you see them get to a team like the Mavericks, who are just an all-around good team, and they're just built the way they're built to try and win a championship, and look at what happens.
Yeah. Tim Legger, I really like that you brought this up. Legs touched on this one day on ESPN because they were asked, like, why is it that this defense that was criticized for so much of the year, and guys that normally typically don't play good defense, like Luka and Kyrie, why has it started to shift? And it's because they went out and did what the Nuggets didn't. They went out and got depth. They went and got defensive guys like Lively, PJ Washington. This year is when they came around.
I don't think the Nuggets could have done it, though. That's the only problem.
Oh, not by like strapped for cash and stuff like that. But if they were to move things around or figure some, that's what could have done. Because the guys they went out and got are like
PJ
tier.
Washington's like got to be one of the best free agent pickups.
He's got to
be
year, dude. Lively, I think it's
he's
Derek
out.
Lively, right?
Yeah, he's out though.
For the rest
for this game.
Did
you see that foul?
Yeah.
He threw him down. Who was it? It was Cat, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Somebody threw him down, and I guess he's got a sprained neck.
Oh God.
So
that sucks. I was going to mention he hasn't missed a shot this series. He's 13 of 13. I mean, these are role players that the Mavs have brought in, and what Tim Legler was bringing up is like they have all brought the defense up better, and so that makes Luka and Kyrie elevate their defense because they don't have to like work so hard on defense. Now they can see like, okay, I'm invested into it now because these other guys are going to have my back. And I mean, you just see it, the blocks from Lively, the blocks from PJ Washington. I'm trying to think of a couple other their role players. I'm gonna click on this real quick because I mean it's their depth that is really making such a big difference on that
which
team.
was not something that was a big point in the season necessarily. Nobody really was talking about their depth. Everybody was talking about the Timberwolves. Everybody was talking about Oklahoma. But the Mavs just quietly, they had to scratch and claw their way to get into the 5th position in the seeding, and now that they've done it, here they are exceeding. And we were talking about it before we got into starting to record. But are we seeing a transition where is home court, home ice that big a deal in situations where there's a 7-game series? You want to talk about the NFL? Yeah, it's insanely important to have
big,
home field. It's one game.
Yep.
But when you're talking about a 7-game series, I don't think it matters as much as you necessarily would think in the NHL and in the NBA where you're playing 7 games, because there's just a point where you figure out the other team and it doesn't matter where you're playing.
Yeah, a lot of it's based on emotion. Where if you get some guys that thrive on being the spoilers and winning on a road game, then that's what's going to carry you and take you to that next level. And I think we see it with guys like Luka. I mean, all anybody were talking about during the Nuggets series is like, oh, Anthony Edwards, the way he talks shit, he's so cold blooded, and the MJ comparisons. Because now we can finally put that shit to bed. Like you can't say it's one of my favorite memes. I saw it today. It's great. It's a picture of old Maury. Remember?
He is not the father.
He is
Maury
not the father.
Povich.
It's Michael Jordan, Anthony Edwards sitting there, and it's like, we're pleased to announce he's not the father. Because if he really was some form of a lost son of Michael Jordan, I don't think he would be playing like this. Unless if Jordan had actually raised him, it might be a little bit different. But yeah, it's totally, the comparisons have got to be thrown out the window because the way Luka talks shit, the way Luka controls everything. And here's another one for you. If they go on to win it all, it'll be the first time, I think, in like a good handful of years. 2000 since Shaq. I'm glad it came to me. It'll be the first time since 2000 that the league's leading scorer throughout the regular season won it all.
Yeah.
Yep.
And speaking of role players, this is what we were trying to get to. Just in terms of, that was a great point though. But in terms of the Mavericks, Daniel Gafford.
That's another one.
Last game.
Yeah.
He got dunked on. Like, I'm talking like, you don't ever want to see a dunk like that happen in like your highlight reel.
Yeah, Anthony
Edwards. But Daniel Gafford had so many defensive plays down the stretch of that last game in Game 3 where he was blocking balls, steals, just he had some huge dunks as well.
Yeah.
Where he would, get the rebound and just dunk it back. Daniel Gafford was one of those guys who you don't even know really who he is necessarily if you aren't a Mavericks fan, if you aren't following the NBA closely. But to have something like that happen with the Ant situation and then to come back and be like, not to like, cower in the spotlight, so to speak, of like just Ant just demolishing you. But to come back and then be like, what wins the game for your team is just, I think, like one of those things where like maybe they don't have like all the like, the quintessential names on their bench, but the guys they've got are definitely going above and beyond for them. So
I mean, they really have been. I mean, I think it was Gafford that had that enormous alley-oop dump right at the end of the game that's pretty much sealed it.
Yeah, that was the one that ended it. Yeah,
and
that's it.
We would be remiss without talking about Kyrie Irving, man. I mean, how about Ant being like, "Oh, I got Kyrie before this series started,"
and Kyrie was basically like, "Yeah, no,
good. Yeah, I've been in this league 10 years longer than you have. Let's get over it. Kyrie's got a ring."
People compare me to Allen Iverson in terms of handles, dude. Like, what are you doing?
It literally is him and AI as they put up there. Is like, and maybe even Jay Williams, Jason Williams. But I mean, it's
white
nuts.
Chocolate?
Yeah, white chocolate, man. He's got a daughter that's playing collegiate softball right now.
Oh shit! Yeah, I saw that. He was out in the stands.
Yeah, looking
that's cool.
Super gangster, dude, just like this. But dude, like Kyrie, watching him this series, it is some of the most beautiful basketball I've ever seen in my life. Like this dude will pull up, shoot a little floater. He's like what he's 6'2". And he's able to get these shots over these Twin Towers where it seemed like Jamal Murray. I mean, it was almost sad watching him. It was like watching a middle schooler go up against like college level players.
The way they were able to affect him, and that's what makes me think they were just tired.
Could have been,
because
I don't know.
You see like a team like the Mavericks who.
I've got to retort to that though, because here's a straight pull from last game. All right, Lucas said that in an interview, he said he leaned over to Kyrie and he goes at the end of the game and he said, "Dude, I am tired." And Kyrie said, "Well, man, that's the way it's supposed to be." So that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
If you're tired, you got to grind through it.
When was the last time Kyrie, drug a team through the playoffs?
That'd be 2016, didn't he? Or was that 17 with the Cavs
Braun?
Yep, Braun and yep.
So I take that with a grain of salt, but I don't want to.
He was the one that had that game-winning shot in that series.
I know.
Too, though.
I don't want to go off on a Nuggets tangent, but that's my whole, little bugaboo about that. But that shot he hit, I think, is with Jaden McDaniels in his face. That fadeaway in the corner,
dude. That I don't know how it went in. He was like behind the backboard. I will never understand how these behind the backboard shots go in. I'm like, what? Is there a hole in the backboard?
Practices them.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah, Hannah's really good at him too.
He shoots a few a game, or before every game.
It's smart.
But yeah, it's just a bummer, man, because you just see what could have been, and the battle between Jokic and Doncic. Oh my god!
I don't think I'm ever gonna really accept this. I was
God.
I was talking to Hannah about it the other day. We were walking the dogs, and I'm just like,
it's hard.
I feel like we're living in an alternate reality where the Nuggets lost, and it's just every day you have to wake up and accept it, and it's just weird. It doesn't feel like it's real life.
It does not help how this series is going, where you're like, they're fucking dismantling them.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
they went from the best defense all year, looking like the best defense to ever play in the playoffs. I mean, we're talking the Pistons, the bad boy Pistons.
Oh yeah,
the best defense ever in a 5-game series. No, 7. Sorry, 7. Jesus Christ. 7-game series. The best defense ever. And then just to see them just get picked
it's so
apart.
Hard to accept it. I mean, yeah, you can rule in the fact that maybe the T-Wolves are tired.
That's why I'm putting it on the Nuggets.
Yeah.
But this is a team that was supposedly built by the builder of the Nuggets to beat the Nuggets.
Tim Connolly.
And that's exactly what they did, but that's it.
You know what this is comparable to? When John Gruden coached against the Raiders in the Super Bowl. It's like he knew them well.
Yeah, he's like, I know what they're going to do.
We know exactly.
I know everybody
on
their team, dude.
Yep, we know what formation.
I took over Tony Dungy's really good team, and I know exactly how to beat this team.
And it's like the Raiders didn't change up anything from when Gruden was there.
Starring Mark Wahlberg.
It's just exactly what Tim Connolly did.
Good movie, by the way.
Yeah, but it's just it's ridiculous. I had another point that I was going to touch on that with the defense. And it's just like, dude, there was multiple games in that Nuggets series with the T-Wolves where there was like 2 to 3 minutes left in the first quarter, and they only had 11 points, 9 points.
Here's what I'm
and you're
say.
seeing the Mavs put up points, no problem.
And this, I'm not on the trade in PJ train as much as you are. I don't know if you still are on that train.
I am.
Okay.
Yep.
It would get them out of the second tier, which is what's screwing them right now. It's why they couldn't make any changes at the trade deadline. But, where was I going with this? What was the point you just made?
MPJ, lack of offense.
Oh, if he just scored his average, they would have won Game 7. They would have won 2 of those games.
Oh, yeah.
And they would not have been in a Game 7 had he just scored his average.
Yep.
But, again, dude was going through a lot. And both times, as I've said it multiple times,
You're
it's
right.
amazing to me that at the exact same time this year and last year, his brothers did some wild shit.
Well, and it's just so fucking crazy that it's not, it'd be one thing if it's just one brother, and it's like, damn, that's crazy. That really sucks. But 3 all at once? Like, what?
Yeah.
How is that a thing?
So I'm like, man,
You're right. I should be more compassionate.
I don't want to trade him.
I think you might have swayed me.
This is the point I tried to make the other day when you and Dan were talking about it and I came over, is the dude has progressed. I mean, he went from what was supposed to be a number 1 overall draft pick to the 14th overall because of his back.
Yeah.
To the point where people didn't think he was going to even play.
Yeah.
And then here he is. He started the most games on anybody on this team this year, and that was way above what he went through last year, the year before. He missed a whole year, or almost a whole year.
Pretty
it was
much
like
a full
he played
year.
like 3 weeks, and then his back, he had to get another surgery.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. Like, if it was one thing where it's like the guy's not progressing, it's like, what are we doing? He's getting better. But I don't know. If you can trade him, and I'm talking getting like some legit depth pieces.
And defense, man.
And maybe a top I mean, maybe trade your first round pick as well to try and move up. I don't know.
We need a backup for Jokic, man. I mean,
Well,
we
they
were
have
talking
to.
about it with Eric earlier, at work, just how, like, I remember when they would put Mason Plumlee in?
He did good.
He wasn't bad.
I was mad when they traded him.
I mean, it sucks.
They looked the same. He didn't produce nearly as much, but he was in a deficit.
Had Vlatko Čančar.
That's what I'm saying. Vlatko's going to be back.
Yeah, he tore his ACL in the offseason. That's what killed us.
So
If
he'll
he'd
be
been
back
there,
before.
He would at least be a big body in there. But, I mean, I love DeAndre Jordan, but he's just kind of too big. He's too clunky.
too old.
Yeah, I mean, not too big, but yeah, too old is what I meant. So
could
they
be
need
too
to
big.
get another big in there. It's just like we see what's going on with the Wolves. Got to be able to compete.
You got to
with
be
that.
able to roll waves out. You
Yep.
can't just have the best 5 in the league and that's it.
And that's
then when they leave, it's like, hey, hold on.
Yep.
Just see what happens. All right, well, we've gone on quite a tangent on the NBA. I didn't mean to go that deep
No, it's all
into the Nuggets.
good
but
coverage.
let's get into the music break, and then we'll finish up with the rest of it because our guest this week, unfortunately, we had a little bit of a snafu. It's the first time it happens. It happens to the best of us.
His son had to have baseball practice, so
Yeah, his son had a
No
game.
biggie.
His son had a game tonight, and with us being in Mountain Standard Time and everybody else, I guess we should probably just find out. We should probably, when we message him, just like lay out what time it is in every time zone in America, so they know. 5:30 p.m. Mountain Standard, 4:30 p.m. I guess we might have to do that. This is the first time it's happened, though.
But with that, we will preview, as long as everything does work out well. We've got some booked for the future. If you're because obviously we know you're not all Chiefs and Broncos fans out there. We got a guy from Locked On Colts booked for later in June. We got a guy from the Locked On Vikings coming on later in June. Then the guy that we were going to have on tonight is a Titans guy. So he should be coming on maybe later this week. We'll see.
We're going to try and get him in because we already did a bunch of prep for it and stuff. So we're going to try to get him in hopefully as soon as possible this week.
Yeah, and a huge insider and beat writer for the Buccaneers. So he'll be coming on next week. So, yeah, lots of different teams coming up.
Yeah, and then as always, we're going to try and get some MLB guys. We're going to try and get some UFC people. I mean, we're going to always have somebody to give you information above and beyond us because why trust us,
Exactly.
We're just two dudes who like sports, love sports, talk about it all the time, but we want to get people who are experts and insiders for every team that we can so you get the best information possible. It's not just us rambling about things. You can hear from people directly involved with each of these teams and each of these sports
That's
that are
right.
going to give you the best information possible. So, on that note, stay tuned because we got some good stuff coming down the pike. And we are going to keep having good stuff coming on the pike because we're on a roll,
Why do
baby.
you keep saying Pike?
I don't know. It's a good name.
All
it's
right.
a good word, not name. Pike.
Down on the Mass Pike.
Pike. You don't know what pike means?
I know what Pike means, but I thought the saying was coming down the pipe.
I thought it was the pike.
Are you for real?
I think it is, dude. All right, we're gonna get to this. 'Cause we don't
We
have
got
a
some
guest,
things
so
coming down the pike.
coming down the pike versus coming down the pipe. No, this is a thing.
I thought it was always
Dude.
coming down the pike.
Here, we're going to find out real quick. Let's see. Coming down the pike means that something unknown is going to happen in the future, while coming down the pipe means that something already in development is heading your way.
Okay.
So I guess there is a difference.
Yeah, there is a difference. And it's,
So, look
now
at that.
I can use that.
Hey, I will always be the first to say, I'll say a bunch of crazy shit. Sometimes I know what it is. Sometimes I don't. And
Most times he doesn't.
Most times. But if I don't and he calls me on it, I'll be the first to say, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
And I most times don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
So here we are, coming down the pike. Again, we've got good stuff. So stay tuned. But right now, stay tuned because we have our music break guest, Thelma and the SLEAZE. The name of this song, oh, son of a bitch. Oh, no.
What'd you do?
I forgot the name of the song because I got it before we started going. This episode's a little loosey-goosey, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize, but we had a whole bunch of things planned, and then, you throw it up in the air, and you just got to kind of fly by the seat of your pants.
That's what we're doing.
But This song is called, let me tell you here in just a second, because I found it. That's not what I want to happen. I believe this song is called Maria.
Maria.
You are about here right now is by Thelma and the Sleaze. We will be back shortly, y'all. And we are back. You just heard Maria by Thelma and the Sleaze. And like I've mentioned before, they are definitely a rad band out of Tennessee. Make sure to go check them out if you liked what you heard or saw. That last video was a little bit risque. There was a couple butts being shown.
Whoa,
I don't know if
butts.
you're ready for that.
Nice.
Butts,
Might have
dude.
to watch the video now.
But Thelma and the Sleaze, they are on tour starting here in a bit. Make sure to go check out thelmaandthesleaze.com to find out if they are coming to a city near you. If not, and you are in the Denver metro area, make sure to come down to the High Dive. We are playing with Thelma and the Sleaze June 6th, which is in like 2 weeks. We're getting close.
The Born Readies.
Yeah, the Born Race. Chad's wearing the shirt. You can see it right there. Look at pointing at it. Make sure to check them out regardless, whether or not you're going to go see them out live. But go to their website, buy their merch, and if you're in Denver, come see them with us and Team Non-Existent at the High Dive. $15 pre-sales, $18 day of show. Make sure to check it out. And let's get back into the show, Chad.
Let's get to the ice.
The ice. Let's get into the ice. I didn't know what you meant at first. You threw me for a loop there by just saying the ice. But let's... right. Those foghorn leghorns means it's time to get into the NHL.
Shall we cover the West first?
Well, I got one thing first. We haven't played it yet. I'm going to hit this real quick.
Headlines! Get your headlines here!
That's what I meant to hit. It is time for the headlines because, we did have a couple headlines in the NFL, but it was just free agent signings and just extensions and stuff. But in the NHL, there was some news as the Krakens hired Dan Bylsma as their new head coach. He started coaching in the American Hockey League in 2021, and since then has now rediscovered his enjoyment in coaching and has been named the second head coach in Seattle Kraken history. That was today. This is the first time he's been in charge of an NHL bench since 2017. So good for them. The Kraken, they kind of fizzled out there. Hopefully this coaching change will be able to turn them around and kind of set them on the right path to get them back into the playoffs and, on that chase for the cup as they were in their first season. So,
yeah.
On that note, let's get into the playoffs. Where do you want to start, East or West?
All right, we'll start with the West because the East play tonight. Last night, the Dallas Stars upset the Edmonton Oilers in Edmonton, Canada, 5-3.
Yeah.
Yep, to go up 2-1 in the series.
Yeah, and in that game, Jason Robinson scored a hat trick, and the Stars rallied for a 5-3 win. They are definitely on a roll. Ottinger is looking pretty unstoppable as he continues on past the Avalanche and now going through the Edmonton Oilers. Going against Connor McDavid.
And Draisaitl.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some of the best two-headed attack in the whole
Yeah,
hockey.
in terms of offense, they are the best.
Mm-hmm.
But Jason Robinson is on a tear. And, I don't know what the Oilers are going to do. They're coming up against a team that has got really hot at the right time. And
I think it was right there towards the end of the season. The Stars were the hottest team in hockey.
yeah, they definitely were. And here they are now. They beat Edmonton 3-2 in Game 1, 1-3 in Game 2, and in Game 3 of Game 1, Oilers won 3-2. My bad. And then Dallas wins Game 2, 3-1, and in Game 3, the Dallas Stars win 5-3. As we just mentioned, Game 4 is Wednesday, tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. It is in Edmonton. We'll see if they can even this series. I do have a feeling they're going to have a good chance at home. Especially with, like Chad said, probably the best two-headed attack in the NHL.
Yeah, there's talks out there that if the Oilers win this series, it's likely that Draisaitl will win the Smythe Award because he's been really good in these playoffs.
Yeah, he has been insanely good. I could see maybe somebody over in the Rangers side winning it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's the one that caps it all off for himself there. So,
well, Tkachuk has had a really good playoffs as well, so it's tough to see. But I think Vegas has, Draisaitl is the favorite right now.
All right, good for them. Vegas knows what's up. That's why they keep building on them big ass casinos
and
just tearing
spheres.
down. Yeah, and spheres.
Yep. Well, tonight, 6 p.m. on ESPN. The Rangers are going to take on the Panthers, where the Rangers are up 2-1 in the series. They're playing down in Florida. This series has gone back and forth, but the king of overtime, the Rangers, just won a thriller Sunday night. It was Sunday night where they won 5-4.
Yeah, that's a good one right there.
Yep, it was a good game, and they pulled it off right there in overtime.
All these games, the last game was close too. Also in overtime as the Rangers eke out a 2-1 win. Game 1, though, the Panthers did win going away a little bit, 3-0. But you look at this series, and the Panthers are one of those teams that you don't expect to be there, and they're just always there in the playoffs, wherever it may be.
Well, they've got Matthew Tkachuk there, and that guy is really good. So I think that's the one that's been leading the charge for the Panthers. And it's kind of funny, like the Panthers, aren't they located near like it says Sunrise, Florida. I think it's almost like closer to the Panhandle area. It's not really southern Florida at all, I'm pretty sure.
Let's see here.
Where is Sunrise, Florida at?
What I just looked up literally took me to Florida Panthers.
Okay.
Oh, it says they're in the Miami metropolitan area.
Is it really?
That's what they said.
That's crazy. I thought they were more...
You're like, they're in the bayou.
I mean, their name is Panthers because there are Panthers around like more of like the Panhandle,
you're right,
like
you're right.
Tallahassee area. That's nuts. I would not have expected that. Look at him.
But yeah, you look at this last game though. Where was it going? My thing's gone. Alex Lafreniere, Barclay Goodrow each scored twice, and Lindgren as well. Jacob Trouba and Vincent Trocheck each had 2 assists for New York, which is the number 1 seed for the Metro Division. Igor Shesterkin made 33 saves. New York might do it, man. They might beat this curse. That
goalie they got, man,
Igor Shesterkin, which might be the coolest goalie name ever.
It does sound...
Igor Shesterkin.
Yeah, just
My
sounds
name is
formidable.
Igor Shesterkin, and I'm here to stop the goals.
You shall not get anything past me.
You shall not pass the goals to my net.
Well,
but yeah, the Rangers, they're on their way right now. I mean,
they're underdogs tonight away. Florida is actually a minus 165 tonight, so
that's pretty good.
It is.
They're looking well. Vegas is thinking they're going to bounce back.
Yeah.
We'll see if it actually happens. But that's it, man. That's it for the NHL.
We'll give you guys an update next week. We'll probably be getting close to these series being ended by then.
Yeah, it's going to be about over. Let's go. Let's do F1.
Let's do it.
Let's do F1. Oh, whoops. That was something we're possibly going to talk about. All right, into F1. Here we go.
Whoa.
And we're back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, things have changed on the F1 front as Charles Leclerc wins his hometown Monaco Grand Prix with a total time of 2 hours, 23 minutes, 15 seconds, and 554 hundredths of a second.
Nice.
Which is very hard to say that
Very
stuff.
specific.
Yes, but that is what his total time was. In P2, you have Oscar Piastri from McLaren, who finished 7 seconds and 152 thousandths of a second. I fucked it up
I
already.
think you should just say seconds.
Yeah, no, I'm going to. And then Carlos Sainz, who finished 4 hundredths of a second behind Oscar Piastri. But what the big deal was is the top 10 in this race that finished in their pole positions. Nothing changed.
Yeah, a lot of people are calling it one of the more boring races of the year. One of probably the most boring Monaco race there's ever been. Red Bulls in particular, even Lewis Hamilton criticized the hell out of this race. Chris and I were talking about it today at work. It came on at 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on Sunday. I woke up and got into it about halfway through the race, and nothing changed. At least not in the top 10. And it was not too exciting. I kept expecting, Max, he must not have had a very good qualifying round because it was shocking. He started 6th in qualifying. After qualifying, that's where his pole position was. And George Russell kept trying to pass him, or he kept trying to get closer to George Russell, and it just never panned out. I mean,
he did. They ended up switching tires there towards the end of the race, and he gained a lot of time on him. But there was a lot of people, especially teams involved in the race, that were complaining about something needing to be done because the fact that the top 10 teams all finished the same way they started the race goes to show that there's either too much parity or maybe the track needs to be changed. I don't know. The turns are all extremely tight throughout Monaco. It's like we said, it's literally through the city of Monaco.
And tunnels and stuff.
Yeah, they shoot through a tunnel. So I don't know how you can change the track in and of itself because you're talking about city streets and they're already built a long time ago before, we had SUVs and stuff that are all bigger than twice the size of cars when they first came out. But I don't know how you change it. But Verstappen did claim this week that their weaknesses have been found. And his teammates Sergio Perez was wrecked by Kevin Magnussen on lap 1. And that wreck actually ended up taking out Magnussen's Haas teammate Nico Hülkenberg as well. All three of which could not finish the race. Sergio Perez's car lost 3 tires, and there was no fixing that one. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun race. Monaco's just fun to watch these guys rip around the course, but at the same time, they're just in a line.
Yeah,
and there's not much that changes aside from pit stops and stuff. So
a good stat to kind of compare this and explain it is last year's Las Vegas Grand Prix, there were 82 overtakes in that. So 82 times a car was passed. Now, in Monaco, there's half of that. I believe it was 41. That's not really exciting racing, No, it just sucks. It's just the same. You're just watching the train almost.
Well, and that's what everybody was kind of complaining about last year with Verstappen winning everything. It's like, well, what's the fun in this?
Yeah.
Well,
it's funny. I'm glad you brought that up because I've got the driver standings here, and I'm going to talk about the Constructors' Cup standings. And after that last win where Leclerc gained 25 points in the standings, he's now up to 138 of points, and Verstappen's up 169. So he's kind of nipping at the heels on Max a little bit now.
Well, and yeah, finishing in 6th doesn't help us all or help at all. But
yeah, he only got 8 points.
Yeah. So the funny thing was, though, there was some people driving home from the Grand Prix, or I don't know if they were driving home from the Grand Prix, but they saw Charles Leclerc driving home from the Grand Prix on his bike because he was heading back to his house, which is just right there in town. But it's super funny. They're like, this guy just won the Monaco Grand Prix, and here he is riding a Ferrari bike home.
Yeah.
And like a literal pedal bike, not like a motorcycle. Like he's riding a bike.
That's humble. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Ferrari, let's give you an update on the constructors' standings. And after last week, I mean, it was like pretty much Ferrari. Then McLaren had 2 in the top 10 as well. So they're climbing quite a bit. But Ferrari is really getting closer to Red Bull. Red Bull's sitting at 276 points, and then Ferrari's at 252. So only 24 behind.
Yeah, and they keep finishing top 5 all the time.
All
and when
the
you
time.
have Perez not finish at all and get no points, and then you get Verstappen getting, what'd you say,
8 points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, you're going to start getting that gap's going to close real fast.
Yeah.
So
And the next race isn't until, I think, 2 or 3 weeks away in Canada.
yeah. Let's just double check it real quick while we've got the time.
The schedule?
Yes, the AWS Canadian GP, which is June 9th. So not this next weekend, the weekend after, which is at the Circuit Guilles Villeneuve, I think. But, yeah. So June 7th through the 9th is the next Grand Prix. We get this next weekend off. Tune in, guys. That one's going to happen at 7 a.m. as well. They're super fun if you're up early on the Sunday morning.
It should be easier for us to watch Canada. What time does it say?
7
Yeah, all right.
a.m.
It's not too bad. All right.
Well, we'll see. Chad, you
Yep.
can't sleep until 8:30.
I
Damn
know.
it.
I know. I stayed up too late Saturday.
Yeah, you partied too hard.
I think I probably fell asleep around 10, actually, on Saturday.
Well, what do you want to do? What do you want to go, MLB or UFC? We've got about 17 minutes.
Yeah, let's do MLB, and then we'll finish with UFC.
Okay. Let us get into the MLB. Here we go.
Vaughn, a juvenile delinquent in the offseason in his major league debut.
Gonna light your ass up, meat.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Just a bit outside. Well, it was just a bit outside, but we are just inside the time when the MLB is getting serious, basically. June 1st is when I always started paying attention really hard to the MLB, because if you're a Rockies fan, this was about the time they were still good, and then the June swoon would happen. So right about June, that's when they would fall out of all playoff contention and everything would go to hell. So
Sounds about right.
but this year, that's already gone. They're
Gonna
already
win.
done.
Probably the
They're
first few weeks of the year.
Yeah, they're done. So,
Yeah.
but there are some big news in the world of the MLB as Ronald Acuna.
Yeah, this sucks.
Definite bummer. He is done for probably the year as he tears his ACL running the bases. Non-contact injury, which you always know when the sniper comes out of the stands, it's never good.
Yeah,
when
he has no mercy.
When a guy drops just running or just existing, it's usually pretty bad. This is his second ACL. This is on the other knee. He is now out for the season.
This is last year's NL MVP as well. So this is a big blow to the Braves. There's a lot of talk that they're going to try to make a trade to replace him.
Yeah,
So-
we'll see if what they can do. But they're struggling to play 500 ball right now, and their roster is struggling in terms of depth. But they now are without the National League MVP. They're also without their most dominant pitcher in Spencer Strider, who suffered a season-ending elbow injury, and he is out for the season. They were really hoping the addition of Chris Sale would help, but after Strider's injury, they are floundering.
Yeah,
So-
Sale's having a good season at 7-1, I believe, so far, but that's only one ace. You got to have a little more than that. And speaking of that, let's touch on the Dodgers. I mean, even though they're leading their division right now, they have a lot of holes despite having a $1.4 billion salary
so
roster.
nuts to say.
It's nuts. But, yeah, there's a lot of... They have some relievers, 4 different ones that have all been injured. They should be returning to health soon, but they have some holes on their roster when it comes to just guys getting on base. We'll see. There's talks that they're going to try to get a base hitter here pretty soon.
Well, I really don't hope them much success.
Oh, no, not at all.
But
I'm only covering this because I hope that those holes just get bigger, and yeah, they'll make the playoffs for their 13th consecutive year, but hopefully they'll fall short because it'll be even bittersweet.
yeah, how great would it be for them to have a $1.4 billion roster and to
Not win at all.
not even make the playoffs or just flounder out in the first or second round?
It'd be great.
Other big news in the MLB. The face of bad calls, the face of the problem with umpires in the MLB has now retired.
Yep.
Angel Hernandez hangs it up after 3 decades. Yeah, like I said, if you wanted to put a face to the controversy involving umpires, Angel Hernandez is at the forefront of it. The 62-year-old Hernandez, who premiered in 1991 after umpiring thousands of games, has finally decided it's over. But I mean, this guy, if you watch or have followed John Boy Media, which is like one of the best lip reading, the guy who does John Boy Media basically narrates baseball videos that have guys talking, and he lip reads what they say. Some of his best involve Angel Hernandez. There's one with what's his name from Washington?
Like the pitcher?
No, the hitter.
I can't think of it.
Oh my god. I've had a couple drinks, so I'm all right, I'm just gonna move on. Either way,
Good idea.
There's been multiple times where this guy has been at the forefront of a game, and he shouldn't have been, because nowhere in any sport should the referees, umpires, whatever you want to call them, should be the story of the game. But this guy has been the quintessential umpire who just makes terrible, terrible calls. There was one time, I think it was in the 2018 World Series, where it was right after they let him start reviewing calls. He was the first base umpire, and in the first 6 innings, he had 3 calls on first overturned.
Wow.
If you watch his videos, I mean, it's shit that's way outside of the box. He's calling strikes.
Yep. Well, Yeah,
It's
there
just-
was a good one this year where a lot of people thought, like, did he have a dinner reservation to get to or something like that?
Yeah,
because the game ended, and I mean, there was runners on base. There was a total potential for more action, basically, and it was like a full count. And he calls a strike when it could have been a ball force and another runner on base. And I mean, this is a ball where a blind person could see that this was outside the box.
Oh, yeah.
And he still
Well, it's
strike,
like
game
Blade,
over.
Like, the catcher will catch it and like move it up like 8 inches, and he's like, "Ha!" Like, dude, he moved it up after it hit his glove.
Exactly.
Like, and just a quick correction: it was the 2016 championship series.
Okay.
They haven't let him work a World Series game since 2005,
Wow, that
and
says
that
a lot.
championship series was the last one he worked.
Well, it's a good thing he's out of the league.
Yeah, it's
Cheers to that.
If you know who he is, you know he is the face of what's wrong with the umpires in the MLB.
Yep.
But let's get into the standings. We haven't really dove deep into the standings.
Let's do that.
Yet.
Well, we haven't at all. Let's. I'll start with the National League. You take the American League.
You got her.
The East in the National League, you got the Philadelphia Phillies leading the Atlanta Braves by 6 games. The Phillies have really got a good record, 38-17. And then the Marlins down in the bottom of that division, 19-36, 19 games back already.
Yeah, they're doing great.
Yep. Central Division, the Milwaukee Brewers having another good season at 31-22. They're 4.5 games up on the Cubbies. And in the bottom of that division, you got the Reds. And then in the West, like we talked about, unfortunately, the Dodgers. They're 5 games up on the Giants. The Dodgers are sitting at 33-22. And, wow, the Rockies are worse. Yeah, they're worse than the Marlins. Holy shit. So, I guess winning
they're doing.
percentage.
Oh well, the
winning
Sox are
percentage.
the White Sox are still worse.
Yeah, they're doing really, really bad. So, yeah.
But the Rockies are terrible.
Yep.
So,
surprised there.
like I said earlier, I normally didn't even start paying attention till the baseball season till right about now, and I already have no reason to pay attention. But let's move in to the American League, and we'll start off in the East as the New York Yankees are in first. 37 wins, 18 losses. The Baltimore Orioles are 1.5 games back, 34-18. The Toronto Blue Jays, they are up in Canada. They got 24 wins, 29 losses. They are 12 games back. Let's move to the Central, where the Cleveland Guardians, one of the worst team names in the in most Major League sports, they are ahead of the Kansas City Royals.
That's right.
2.5 games. Cleveland Guardians, 36 wins, 18 losses. The Kansas City Royals, 34 wins, 21 losses.
8-2 in their last 10 games.
Yeah, they're ripping right along. Guardians, though, 9-1. Guardians are going to stay
I know,
ahead of
it's
them.
going to be tough to...
It's going to be tough. The team that's worst in the MLB, the Chicago White Sox, they're 15-40. They are doing terrible. 21.5 games behind the Guardians. And let's move into the West, where the Seattle Mariners are in the lead. 29 wins, 26 losses. The Texas Rangers, 25 wins, 29 losses. They're 3.5 games back. And then in last place in the West, the Los Angeles Angels, 20 wins, 33 losses, and 8 games behind the Mariners. And that wraps up our rundown of the standings for the MLB.
There you have it. First rundown of the year.
Yeah.
We'll get back to it next week. We're going to be following baseball just throughout the summer because it'll be the only sport we got.
Yeah.
Especially with the Royals doing well.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Isn't that nice for you?
It is. Well, Chris, I need to hear some violence in my life.
Oh, no. It's time for...
Let's get it on. Let's get it on. All right. We've got a big pay-per-view this weekend that I'm pretty psyched for. It's going to be in Jersey. UFC 302.
Joycey.
We got Dustin Poirier versus Islam Makhachev, the champion lightweight. And then the co-main event, Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa. These are just the two that I'm going to run down. The rest of the card isn't really jumping off the page too much. There's a couple. Alameda from Brazil. He's a pretty good fighter. I think there's a couple little other ones on the undercard and stuff worth watching. But always, like we say, those undercards and the prelims sometimes are even more exciting than the main events. But this main event, I am thrilled for. Dustin Poirier, this is pretty much probably his last chance at a title fight. He is a plus 430 underdog against Islam Makhachev, who's minus 670. He's the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. This guy is the dude that trains with Khabib Nurmagomedov, and this is his first fight back where Khabib is coaching him. So that is a variable that really has to be considered when placing your bets. But I think the statement that I'm rolling with and the guy that I'm going to put my money on, Dustin Poirier, he knows that this is his last shot. He's been in the UFC for 15 years now. Had 50 fights total, amateur and pro. He's already said he's going to come in swinging, and he's going to come in swinging hard, and he wants to knock him out.
Yeah, I heard rumblings that, win or lose, I mean, he could be talking his last fight.
Yeah, it's very likely that if he wins it, I could really believe it that he's going to hang him up.
Just retire as the champion, more or less.
He's got a lot of other things going on. He's real good friends with Theo.
He's got a good hot sauce.
He's got hot sauce that he's selling like hot cakes.
We need to hit him up at the hot sauce.
I know. It'd be nice to...
Dustin Poirier, if you want to sponsor us with your hot sauce.
I am going to message him. That's a good fucking idea. Yeah.
Why not?
Right? That'd be nice.
There's a hot sauce in town that I need to hit up again. I don't know if I have since we started.
I don't know. But we need to buy Dustin's and try it out. I've heard it's good. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a super exciting fight because if Islam wins this, he is definitely putting his name in there as one of the best lightweights of all time for the guys that he's beaten. I think he is going to extend his win streak to maybe break a record. I know it's going to be close. I think it's going to be up around 14 or 15. That's quite a bit, especially in the UFC. What about you? Who do you think is going to come away with this?
I think Makhachev's going to win.
Yeah. And with Khabib behind him, it's really tough to see that. They've been I just watched the countdown today. I finished it. They've been training together since Islam was 7 years old.
Yeah.
Dude.
I just have a feeling these guys coming out of Russia now are just a totally different breed of fighter. And I know Dustin Poirier is like one of like those guys that's just a dog, but I think he may be retiring after this fight.
Yeah, and he wants to go out well. In that countdown, he did mention he always does better when he's the underdog. He always wins when he's the underdog. He did it against Benoit Saint Denis when we just talked about that fight a few months ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't ever count him out. To talk about strategy, and I don't know shit about fighting as much. I'm way just amateur when it comes into breaking it down, but I can watch it, know a little bit, and I know Islam. His ground game is second to none. If he gets Dustin down on the ground, I mean, Dustin has a mean gilly that he always tries throwing down on these guys. And Dustin is a Brazilian black belt when it comes to jiu-jitsu. But Islam is so much stronger. That ground game when it comes to Sambo, their version of wrestling over there in Dagestan, man, it's so much more devastating. If he gets Dustin down, it could be labeled, everybody will consider it a super boring fight, and Islam just wins the round by the ground games. But if it stays standing up, I think Dustin's he's one of the best boxers in the UFC. I think he's going to knock him out. I think it's going to come in the second or third round, but I think Dustin's going to knock him out.
I think both things are fair. I think Vegas obviously thinks that Makhachev's going to win, but, Poirier's, like you just said, been the underdog before and thrives on that. But let's move to the middleweight bout aside from, or the second middleweight bout, which would be the co-main event, because the one before that's also a middleweight.
No, that's a lightweight.
It says middleweight.
No,
Kevin Holland versus Michael Oleksiejczuk?
I thought you were talking about the Islam fight.
Oh, no, I was talking about Sean Strickland.
Yeah,
Paulo
the
Costa.
Kevin Holland fight, they had to replace, there was a different guy that they had in there. I didn't even know.
Michael Oleksiejczuk.
Yep, I don't even know who that is.
But let's talk about Sean Strickland and Paulo Costa. This is Sean Strickland's first fight after his last fight, which was when he
lost the title
to
Dricus.
Yep. Dricus Duplessis, one of the better names in fighting. Now he's taking on Paulo Costa, who's like, I feel like the
He's
Ken
like the
doll of the UFC.
He's like the Brazilian Adonis. The guy is cut from stone. He's got a face that it looks. I'm sure Sean Strickland would love to beat up. Got that pretty boy face, but Paulo, he's not for the faint of heart. He's definitely held his own in there. Sean Strickland is the favorite at -245 to Costa's +186. I think Sean Strickland's style is a big problem for Paulo's because of that Philly shell that he uses, man. He's just going to keep coming at Paulo, and I don't think Paulo's going to have like a chance to kind of like really dial in what he needs to do. Paulo's not really a guy, there's really no ground game. He's just a brawler, pretty much. That's it. He's just a big brawler. I mean, he's a guy that could probably fight at light heavyweight because he cuts so much weight. But yeah, I think that there's a good chance that Sean Strickland comes away with the win here because of the way he's been training and how hard he spars. I don't think there's any way Costa trains as hard as Sean Strickland does.
Well, yeah, and you look at his last fight. I mean, Costa took on Robert Whitaker, who's also been kind of floundering in terms of where he's going to move up in the middleweight division after going on quite a tear in the beginning. But Whitaker beats him in a unanimous decision after 3 rounds in their last fight in February. So, I mean, Paulo Costa's trying to bounce back, but is this the guy to try and bounce back against? I don't know. I do think the Philly shell is incredibly effective, and I'm looking forward to it as much as I hate Sean Strickland. I think he wins this fight.
Yeah, aside from their views, can't really touch on all that. But, Sean Strickland's the guy that loves to fight, and Paulo Costa's the guy that loves to drink wine and sit by the pool. So I think that says enough about these guys. I think Sean Strickland comes away with it.
One's a little more motivated than the other.
I think so, yeah. That's just the way it seems. But yeah, we'll be recapping that next week. I'm really excited to see how that main event goes. Those are 2 of my favorite. Like when it comes to top 5 fighters, if I had to pick, Islam and Dustin are both there. And when 2 of my favorite fighters fight each other, it's kind of a win-win, also a lose-lose. But whoever wins, I'll be pretty psyched for.
Nice. Well, it's that time, Chad.
It is that time.
We always, at the end of the show, like to pass it on over to the man, the myth, the legend himself, John Daly. And we like to let him grip it, rip it, and hit it hard.
It's a natural fact.
Living large. Hit it hard. Well, this week we are going to do something I don't think we've done yet. This is going to be our first posthumous DDOE, as we chose another man, myth, legend himself, Bill Walton. Unfortunately,
Really sad news here.
Yeah, really sad news. Bill Walton passed away after a battle with cancer. He was born in 1952, made it all the way to 2024, but unfortunately could not beat cancer, as cancer, everybody says, fuck cancer. There's a reason why.
Yeah,
it takes the
that's
greatest, takes the best, take the ones who don't deserve it, and, all of us have been touched by it. But Bill Walton, mostly known as a sportscaster, probably also mostly known to some people as one of the best centers to ever play the game.
One of the best collegiate players ever as well.
That's very true.
Yeah. At UCLA, he won 73 consecutive games under John Wooden. Bill Walton called John Wooden probably one of the biggest influences of his life. He had a great career there. Won, I think, 2 national championships, and then went on to play for the Blazers, where he just seemed to have a career that was just completely riddled with injuries. He did win a title as a Celtic, and he won 6th Man of the Year that year as well.
Yeah, as Chad mentioned, he started out for the Portland Trail Blazers. He was drafted first overall in the 1974 NBA draft. Also, like Chad mentioned, it was the foot injuries that required numerous surgeries that ended up hampering him. He sat out the 78-79 season and then was signed by the Clippers. He played 4 injury-plagued seasons before his career was rehabilitated, much like Chad had mentioned, with the Celtics at the end of his career, where he played backup center behind Robert Parrish. After retiring from the NBA, Walton overcame stuttering and embarked on a second career as a sportscaster, working as both a studio analyst and color commentator with several networks and teams. He earned an Emmy Award in 1991. Chad, I'll let you take this next part, as Walton was a big fan of the Grateful Dead.
Yes, it is a huge loss to the Dead family. He is in the Hall of the Grateful, the Hall of Fame, I guess, as just one of the more famous members, where he's been going to Dead shows. She's probably been over 100, I would imagine, but he was famous for being right there in the front row, doing the whole sway, just moving back and forth and having a great time, all smiles. He's really notorious for having just this like animated smile, always seen in a tie-dye shirt. I'm glad I didn't forget it. There was a great docuseries, a 4-part docuseries that came out on ESPN just last summer, called The Luckiest Guy in the World. That's what he self-proclaimed himself as, his whole life. He really considered himself as a lucky guy because of everything he got to experience and what his life entailed. And I think it's a great lesson into gratitude and what he portrayed as just a great life. And yeah, I love the Grateful Dead, and it was pretty cool to see a kind of an athlete, if you will, somebody that was that much into it,
Yeah,
It's pretty sweet.
him and John Wooden had a lot of stuff going back and forth in the college days just because he wanted to have long hair and that wasn't allowed and stuff like that. But every story I've heard of people talking about Bill Walton is just like how great of a guy he was.
Yeah.
And there's not too many times like when these athletes pass where like they don't have any real like bad marks or like smut, like, what I mean, like, like, just bad past or just history or anything like that. Aside from being involved in protests and like believing in what he thought was right, Bill Walton was like a standout person and athlete, and it is nice to kind of honor him, even though it is posthumous, as he did pass away.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a really good point. I was trying to think of, like what could we kind of like dial in as for like why he deserves this kind of like recognition. And it's not so much just of his basketball accomplishments or even his broadcasting, because he won Emmys for his broadcasting. He was a very animated, fun personality when he was broadcasting games.
Going crazy tangents. You think we go on tangents?
Oh yeah, all the time. And he was like eating cupcakes sometimes. He was a very wild personality. But I'd say what he deserves this for more than anything is a guy that just stood up for what he believed in. And I think, joining those protests and really, making his name heard, and something that he felt strongly about, when there was wrongdoing, like there is all the time, I think that really says a lot about him and the sports, the Grateful Dead family, and just the world in general will miss him a lot.
Yeah, and normally we go through these guys' like accomplishments and awards and stuff in playing, but I was going to go through his honors real quick. His number 32 has been retired by both the Portland Trail Blazers and UCLA. UCLA did it in 1990. In 1973, he was the recipient of the James E. Sullivan Award. Walton was inducted into the UCLA Athletics Hall of Fame as part of the inaugural class in 1984. In 1990, he was inducted to the San Diego Hall of Champions and the Breitbart Hall of Fame. The recipient of the MBPA Oscar Robertson Leadership Award. Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame in 1993. Like, you go through all the stuff that he did. A lot of it was like profound stuff in and out of just basketball and sports. You know what I mean? Like, this guy has touched a lot of people's lives, and there is also a documentary out, which if you haven't, go check it out. What was the name of it? We were talking about
Luckiest Guy in the World.
Yeah.
It's a 4-part docu-series.
Sums the guy up
totally
perfectly.
worth watching. I watched the first part. Now it'll definitely be a little sadder going through and finishing it, but I definitely plan on watching another 3 parts. It's definitely a good watch.
Yeah, and he was kind of like the, I guess, first center to be like a prolific passer.
Yeah, very true.
Guys like Jokic and like most of these big men nowadays probably have a lot to, I guess, thank to Bill Walton, because, I mean, he was that quintessential, like, get the ball in the paint, pass it back out to the right, and make the right play. And he opened the doors for a lot of people. And I think a lot, even Scott Hastings. I guess Bill Walton was Scott Hastings' favorite player when he was like 12 years old.
That's cool. Nice.
And he went on to play, he's now a Nuggets color analyst, but played a bunch of years, won a championship with the Pistons and stuff, and he modeled his game after Bill Walton and got to play against him and stuff. And
that's cool.
Also, got to hang out with him later in life with the whole, with him being on TV and stuff. And anywhere the guy went, he just, touched people and left a mark on their lives that, if not made them better, made just that day better. So
exactly. It was a really good guy. May he rest in peace, and our thoughts go out to his family.
Yeah, his friends, family, anybody that, he left a mark on. This one's to you guys. But on that note, it's that time.
Hats off to you, Mr. Walton, and we
Yes.
appreciate you guys listening.
Yes, as always. Stay tuned. Hopefully we hear back. We might have another little bonus episode for you this week.
That's true.
If not, we will be back Tuesday with another guest and more fun things to talk about in the world of sports. We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you.
I love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy.
We'll see you guys
See you
later.
guys next week.
Toodles!